Very well, like
Okay. I thought we wait for like more attendees to attend before actually starting, so they wouldn't miss much because we have already like 10 people here.
Still waiting for some persons to join. Are we starting right away?
I feel that we should wait because we have already 10 people, and usually more than 10 people on the webinar.
Or
Just wait for like few more minutes. So when you're asking questions, like you didn't really get anything, just few minutes, we start.
all right.
All right, everybody, welcome to today's Variety Night Friday. Welcome. Welcome. So today we have a very interesting topic for everybody that's beneficial to everybody. It's more about marketing. So our topic today is the art of networking in a digital world, building meaningful connections, building meaningful connections, and we know how connections can be very, very valuable, especially in times of working and in times of learning, whereby you meet somebody, you can learn from them. You meet somebody, you can provide an opportunity for you. So networking is a very, very key component. This most people actually do lack in today's society. So that's what our topic will be on today. And today, and our speaker today will be is Emmanuel Annie. Today we have Emmanuel Annie here with us as our guest host. Emmanuel Annie is our data scientist at Career X. So can we all give her a thumbs up? Thumbs up to show our reaction. Welcoming Emmanuel Annie. Welcoming Emmanuel Annie. And drop a thumbs up. All right. Okay. So Emmanuel Annie, it's very nice to have you here. Very nice to have
Yes.
you here. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Per.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you here. So Emmanuel will be speaking on networking. So Emmanuel, you have the floor.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm excited to be here today, and there is not much introduction to be done. Per has done justice to that. So basically, we have a very interesting topic to look at today. I particularly chose this topic because of its importance. All right, it's actually underestimated, something that is quite underestimated, especially for those that are just starting out in the tech field, right? So most of us don't really know the importance of networking. So by God's grace, I will actually do justice to explaining what networking is, why you need connections, and why you need to actually be intentional about networking, especially in this age that we are in. So basically in the next 45 to 50 minutes, we're going to be going through what it is. So I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Just give me a minute. All right. So please, can you confirm if you can see my screen? Because I can't get direct feedback because what I'm seeing currently is just my screen. So I will need a feedback to know
Okay.
exactly.
Yes, you can see your screen. We can see your screen.
All right, thank you very much. So as you can see on the screen, on the slide, topic for today is the art of networking in a digital world, building meaningful connections. This is a very interesting topic, trust me, very, very interesting one. And I believe it's not a new concept to most of us here. Majority of us already understand what networking is, right? But you might not understand the importance or how the role it plays in shaping and building you in your career. So we're going to go through all of that today. So yeah, let's just proceed. This is basically the outline. It's quite a lot, but trust me, we are going to cover that within the next under 1 hour. So we will start by looking at what networking is, all right, and then move on to explaining why networking matters. Then we'll proceed to understanding digital networking, then on understanding how to build meaningful connections, and also leveraging social media for networking, participating in online communities, attending virtual events, as well as physical events, right? That is not excluded. And we also look at personal branding in the digital age and also overcoming challenges in digital networking. So we're going to wrap up with just actionable tips for digital networking, and we'll call it a day. If anyone has question, you can just after all this, I think you'll be given an opportunity to ask questions. All right, so let's just proceed. We don't really have much time. Okay, what is networking? This is something that is not new to most of us, as I said earlier. So as you can see on the slide, networking is a process of building and nurturing relationships with people. Now, I need you to focus on two words there. Building is one aspect. The second aspect is nurturing. So building is the first step. Then what nurturing what you've built is the second step, and also the most important aspect, because we're going to look at that because it's easy to connect with people, but it's more difficult to sustain those connections. All right. So we're going to look at how we can actually factor all this into networking. So networking is the process of building and nurturing relationships with people, and often in a professional context. Yeah, this is very important. Networking is not the same thing as socializing, right? So you have to know the difference. Networking is not the same thing as going to a party, going to a social gathering, and just being social, right? That's an entirely different thing. Networking is actually connecting with people in a professional context, all right, with an aim in mind, and that aim is usually centered around career. All right, it's usually centered around career growth and opportunities and all of that. So I'm just going to go right again. Networking is a process of building and nurturing relationships with people, often in a professional context, to exchange information, share resources, and collaborate on opportunities. All right. So there are a lot of things to unwrap here, but we'll not go deep into that. I just need to have an intuition to gain intuition on what networking is, right? So it involves basically connecting with others who have shared interests, goals, and expertise, and it can happen in person or online. So now the goal of this session is actually to show you how you can network in this digital age. All right, networking can actually be physical, all right, which is the traditional way of networking, and it can as well be digital, like it can be virtual as well, all right, which is what we are seeing currently in this age. So it's essential that you understand how to um leverage what we have currently to network with people, right? So as I said, networking is crucial for career growth, very, very crucial. If we are going to factor in networking into career success, I would actually give it a very huge chunk out of 100%, right? Skill is a very good thing. It's very, very good that you have certain skills, right? But if all you have is your skill, trust me, it's going to be very, very much difficult for you to climb up the ladder in your career or get what you want, right? The fastest way to grow is basically to network with people and to connect with people. And that way you would learn faster, right? Rather than being on your own. As we all know, no man is an island, all right? So that is a very popular phrase that is very, very true. All right. So networking is crucial for career growth as it can lead to job opportunities, partnerships, mentorship, and access to valuable knowledge and insights. So yeah, this is actually the definition, right? Or an explanation of what networking is. So you can just I believe this has given you an idea for those of us that might not know what networking is. It should give you an idea of what networking actually is. So we are going to just break all this thing down in the subsequent slide. All right, so let's just proceed. So I'm just going to be using bullet points to just explain some very key concept or some very key points, right? So first we have here networking is no longer just about face-to-face meetings. So as I said, that the essence of this session is to show us how to leverage these particular digital resources in networking. So traditionally, we when we want to network with people, we actually have to be with them physically. We have to go for events. We have to go to gatherings, places that we would have access to these people, right? To meet with them. But now it is actually no longer about that. It has transcended just meeting physically. Now, the digital age has introduced a lot of other means and platform in which we can network and network effectively. All right. So as we can see here, digital networking has become essential. All right, it has become essential, and you need to also understand how to network in this digital age. All right, you need to understand it. So because you cannot be everywhere at the same time. All right, we might have limited means physically. Some might not have all the means to fly to another country to meet some group of persons that they always want to connect with. Some might not have the means to go for different tech conferences and pay all the dues and all of that. But with just these digital platforms and resources that we have, it's much more easier. All right, those barriers have been brought down, and we can now actually network effectively. So let's bring it down to tech, because networking is a general concept that applies to any field, basically. If you are in the healthcare, you can network with people. If you are in the music industry, if you are in the athletics, whatever field it is that you are, networking applies, right? So, but for this particular, for the sake of this session, we are just going to be bringing it down to tech, because I believe everyone here, we are techies, right? So regardless of what particular tech field you are in, right? So in tech, networking is important. Like, it is so important that some persons have actually over because of its importance, some persons have actually overestimated its importance and neglecting the other aspect of growing in your career, which is learning skills. All right, so I'm actually going to try to create a balance here. Networking is one thing, all right? Having skills is another thing. So I need you to have that in mind, right? So you don't think everything is all about networking. So now networking can lead to job opportunities, mentorship, and collaboration on projects, as I've said, right? So now we are now coming into tech. Okay, so I'm just basically giving us the reasons why networking matters. So personal branding is another thing that we're going to talk about. So basically, as we're moving, we're going to like touch all these things. So this is just an introduction to give us an idea of why networking is important. All right. So now we are going to try to understand what digital networking is. All right. Hope everyone can still hear me. Please let me be sure that I'm still very audible. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, so basically, understanding digital networking. So traditional networking was about meeting in person, as I've said and explained. Now, digital networking is another form of networking that is very essential, especially in this age that we are in, right? And this kind of networking happens in platforms that we already know. I'm very sure everybody here has heard about LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a very popular platform specifically created for networking. So if you look at the design, LinkedIn design and its goal and everything, you see that they factor in networking and creating connection into, unlike other social medias that we just have friends and follow people. LinkedIn is quite different, right? Even people that you follow or people that you have or that you're following, basically they are called connections in LinkedIn, right? That's to tell you that okay, this platform was specifically built for networking. So we also have other platforms. Twitter as well is a very good platform for networking, all right, but not as professional as LinkedIn. So we're going to look at the differences between these social media platforms as we proceed. But basically, digital networking is enabled by these platforms, especially by LinkedIn. So if you are not on LinkedIn and you're in this call, this is an action call. After this session, I urge you to go create a LinkedIn account. Anybody that wants to make a career, that wants to grow in their career, trust me, they'll have a LinkedIn account. So I think that is usually the first step in exposing yourself. You need to expose yourself, and one way to do that is through social media, right? Because it's scalable, right? There's no limit basically. So you need to create an account via LinkedIn, right? Which is advisable for anyone that wants to start their career growth and all of that. So I want to urge you, it is an action call. So after this session, if you don't have a LinkedIn account, please go create one. And if you have a LinkedIn account and you've actually not been very active, you should see this as a cue to start taking it serious. All right. This is a cue for you now to start taking your LinkedIn seriously. So we are going to explain all of this and the importance. All right. So we are trying to just understand what digital networking is and how it is enabled. All right. So I've said I've talked about traditional networking and how it differs from digital networking. Right. So social media and online communities have become the new venues for professional networking. That's just the truth. All right. Normally, prior to the explosion of social media, everybody meet physically, right? You basically, if you want to see somebody, you have to go to a common ground to meet them and see them and speak to them and all of that. But now, tech, social media has made it easier, much more easier for us. So if we need to connect with certain person, we just need to locate them on social media, and it's going to just be seamless from there, right? So social media has made things easier. It has made networking easier, especially networking professionally. And I need you to understand the difference between networking itself and just making friends. So there are differences between these things. So networking is not making friends. It's not the same thing as making friends. Networking is a professional social interaction, if I should put it that way. You are actually reaching out to somebody with a goal in mind, all right? And both of you share a common interest in a career field, all right? Right, there's a similarity between you and that person, right? You are probably the person is a front-end engineer that you want to network with, and you're also a front-end engineer, and you want to connect with that person on that ground of being front-end engineers. All right. So this is the difference between networking and being friends. You can be friends with anybody. You can be friends with someone that is a lawyer, and you are maybe an accountant, basically. So there is no common ground professionally for the two parties. So that's the difference between networking and friendship. All right. So that let's just have that clear. Let's just make that clear. Your connections might not necessarily be your friends, but your friends can be your connections. So if you are jotting things, you can as well jot this one. Your connections, they might not necessarily be your friends, but your friends can actually be your connections. So you might have several connections, right? But you are not on a personal level with them. You are just on a professional level with them and all of that. But you can as well have friends that also share professional interest with you. So this is what you just need to understand about networking. So let's just move on and not digress further. So if you notice, there was a particular point that tipped the scale into the digital era, right? Prior to the COVID-19, most things, the focus on social media and all of that was not really much like that. But after COVID-19, we realized the importance of connecting digitally, of connecting online. So the advent of digital networking was more pronounced after the COVID-19. So the pandemic basically pushed us further into the digital space, making online connections more relevant than ever. So this is basically what digital networking is. So I need you to understand this. All right. So going forward, we're going to look at the art of building meaningful connections. How now do you build connections? So you already understand what networking is. You know what digital networking is. Basically, you understand the concept of networking. Now, how do you build connections? So connections basically is the equivalent of friend for in networking. So someone might be your connection, all right? So as I've said, I gave you that particular, I made a statement that your connections might not be your friends, but your friends might be your connection. So connections is someone that you share interest with, that both of you have actually come to a point of basically helping each other in your career growth and all of that, right? So now we're going to look at how to build these meaningful connections. All right. There are three things I'm going to say, but two out of them is actually very important and you need to pay attention to. So the first one is focus on authenticity. This one cannot be overemphasized. Now, because we want to connect with people with the aim of growing in our career and all of that, doesn't mean you should start to become who you are not. All right. Very, very important. Because you are trying to make connections with someone, right, doesn't mean you should now start to make up faces and put up fronts that are actually not a reflection of who you are. You need to be authentic, right? You need to be genuine, right? You need to actually come. Hello. Please, I want to know if everyone can still hear me. Perry, please, can you confirm if you can hear me? And I need feedback because I can't actually see anything here. Okay, okay, yeah, thank you.
Sorry, I got disconnected.
Okay, okay, thank you. Please, I just need feedback at intervals. All right, so let's proceed. Okay. All right, so I was talking on authenticity, that you need to focus on authenticity. People can actually tell when you are faking it. And once they realize that you are not being yourself, it's a big turn off. It's a very big turn off. Although this is quite different, right, from being okay, I understand that there might be challenges when it comes to networking as regards personality. Some people might be an introvert, which is a very big deal for them. It actually might pose as a big, huge challenge because it's not something that they are comfortable with. All right. While some persons, it comes naturally to them. So, regardless of personality here, you just need to understand that being genuine is a very key factor in creating meaningful connection. So whenever you meet someone, let's say online, on LinkedIn, any platform that you find yourself in, and you are trying to initiate a connection with that person, you should come as an issue. You should ensure that you are not putting up a front that is not you. Very, very important. You should make sure that whatever it is that you are saying, whatever it is that you are bringing to the conversation is a reflection of who you are. All right. So that is very important. Very, very important. So the next one on the list here is quality over quantity. All right. Quality over quantity. So what does this mean? Basically, this is just basically trying to tell us that we should focus on having quality connections rather than having a lot of connections that actually doesn't have depth, right? So it's better you have like two connections that have depth than 10 connections that don't have depth, all right? So although I'm going to tell us how we can sustain and ensure that connections that we have are strengthened. But you just need to understand this, that we should focus on quality over quantity. Okay, for instance, now let's just take, for example, attending a tech event. So some people, once you attend tech event and you are going there with the mind to connect with people, you see them just jumping from one place to another, trying to just touch as many persons as possible. That is actually not very effective because you end up losing all of them because you've not created any strong or meaningful connections, right? But let's assume another person came with the intention of also connecting with people, but they have a focus on who they want to connect to. Let's say just two or three persons, right? So they are intentional about it, and they ensure that those people they are trying to connect with, they put much effort into making that connection deep. All right, it doesn't just end as a shallow connection and all of that. You ensure that you create a bond basically that will not be broken after you guys are done with the event. And it's very important that you sustain contact with that person, right? The best thing to do is to always have that person's WhatsApp contact, because that is where you get to interact with that person very, very well. But if it's not possible to get that, you can as well just try to um can as well just try to keep up with them on any platform it is that you got to know them from. All right. So that is about quality over quantity. So the other one we have here is engage in conversations that matter. and always follow up to keep the connection alive. So it's very important that you sustain the relationship that you've created, right? It's one thing to build, right? In the beginning of the session, we talked about building, right? And also nurturing the relationship. So building is basically where you initiate the connection. Nurturing is when you make effort, you put in effort to sustain that particular connection. All right. So you have to ensure that you follow up with that person. Once you get that person's contact, you make sure that once in a while you reach out, ask about their well-being, right? Because you are connecting professionally, doesn't mean you should just stop there. You can as well reach out to them and just maybe once in a while talk about some things that are outside of your profession, all right, and all of that. So it's very, very important that you do this, right? You follow up with your connection to keep them alive. So let's just move on because I think our time is fast spent already. So now, how do we leverage social media for networking? Now, I introduced to us some platforms that we can some platforms, all right. LinkedIn is the major platform for connecting and for networking. So I'm going to reiterate for those of us that are not on LinkedIn, after this session, please go and create a LinkedIn account. All right. Please go and create a LinkedIn account. Very, very important. But if you don't want to if you actually are not intentional about career growth, it's fine. You can as well, or if you don't see the importance, you can as well just not do that. But if you want to grow professionally, LinkedIn is your best bet. All right. So LinkedIn is your professional hub. Is actually the hub for connecting, right? If you're already on LinkedIn, you understand what I'm saying. LinkedIn is a place where you see professionals. You even see people, top people in your field that are doing very well. Like you can actually connect with them. You can send them messages. And if they like what you're doing, they might reach out and it's going to actually change and have a lot of impact in your career growth. So that's very important. So LinkedIn is your professional hub, is your professional hub where you connect and do a lot of things basically. So if you have not started with LinkedIn, please go and do that after this session. So Twitter is also another place for connecting, but I won't really call it connecting, right? Twitter is a place where you just show yourself, right? You just talk and show people that yes, this is what I'm doing, like exposing yourself, all right? It's easier to go viral on Twitter than LinkedIn. So Twitter is an alternative, but it's not really professional as LinkedIn. Some of us, I think, a lot of persons are trying not on Twitter. I think because of how unintuitive it is. But trust me, Twitter is also a place that can help you with your career growth. All right. I see a lot of persons, especially people that are in tech. If you have friends or if you have followers that are doing what you are doing, it's going to create a positive loop for you because once you log in on Twitter, you see these people, and these people they actually you are actually the professionalism is not as defined in LinkedIn as Twitter, so you can actually express yourself more there. All right, so it's actually just another way to also connect with people as well, but not in that strict format as LinkedIn. But if you want to start networking and all of that, you need to just have LinkedIn first, very important, and Twitter is optional, but I would advise that you as well have a Twitter account that you can use in doing a lot of other things, right? Especially challenges. If you are in any field you are in, there are challenges up there for you to do, and Twitter is a good place to do that, which with the hashtag and all of that. So we have, for example, okay, I'm going to look at that as we're moving forward. So let me not just talk about that now. So we also have GitHub and Behance. I think Behance should be for the product designers. I'm not really familiar with it, but these are places that you can also showcase your work. You can also showcase what you're doing, let people see you. Exposure is very, very important. So networking is is a way you need to expose yourself basically if you want to network. All right. So, and these platforms are avenues, opportunities for you to expose, to show people what you do. All right. So GitHub is very, very important. If you're a front-end developer, if you're a back-end developer, if you are a data scientist, I think cybersecurity analyst as well, you should have a GitHub account, right? It's not a question. You should have a GitHub account. All right, so GitHub is going to be a form of a proof of an evidence of what you do. All right. So if you're connecting with someone and they ask for your work or your project, you can as well just send them your GitHub account, let them go through it and all of that. So all this together is going to give you is going to help you basically in connecting digitally. All right. So let's just go ahead with what we have here. So we'll actually go very quickly so we can beat time. So now we're going to look at how we can participate in online communities. So it's a different thing to participate in physical communities. We have a lot of physical communities, and we also have equivalent of them online. So not everyone, as I said initially, have the not everyone can actually participate in every physical activities that are like, for example, we have Deaf Fest that happens in Lagos, and you are in Port Harcourt or you are in Enugu, right? It's not it might not be convenient for you to travel to Lagos just because you want to attend this event and you want to join communities and all of that. It's much more easier when it is online. So we have communities online, and we all this these platforms that stated here: Reddit, Stack Overflow. Although Stack Overflow is not as pronounced again because of the advent of AI and all of that, but we have Discord as well. Most tech communities, they are usually on Discord, and some of them are on WhatsApp as well. And Career X is also a community. All right. So what you are doing now, you're not just learning, you are also building a community. You are part of a community. So you see this particular platform that you are in as a community. When you're done with your program, don't just see it as, oh, I'm done with this. Right? You're actually still part of that community, even if you're not actively learning. So this is just a very practical example of what we're talking about. People that you are here with, your classmates, and every other person, they are potential people that you can connect with, right? Most of us take things, we actually, should I say, okay, let me just use the word see finish, right? Because someone is learning with you or someone is in the same group with you and all of that, you now not see the need to actually reach out to them and maybe just initiate conversation and connection, all of that. But trust me, this is a big opportunity for you. If you're in front end, this is the best time to connect with people. Now, it is much more difficult to connect with people when they are higher the ladder than you are. Very much difficult. But once you are in the same level, so to speak, it is easier because you are going the same path. So, for instance, everybody's journey is different, right? Let's say in the next 2-3 years, one of your classmates is now, let's say, a founder or the owner of a particular startup or something, right? And you see that person and you're like, oh, this person is my classmate and all of that. Because the person was your classmate doesn't give you the permission to just have access to them. If you don't have a connection, an active connection with them, you definitely won't be able to benefit from them. So, right, is now that you are in this particular community career, is very, very advisable that you start with your classmates, start connecting with them, start interacting with them, right? So it's basically just this is something that you should, if you don't take anything from this particular session, take this one, right? Start networking from where you are currently. All right. So we mentioned all these platforms, and we I should have included it here. Telegram is also a platform where you have tech communities and all of that. So let's move on. So now, after understanding the platforms and communities that you can join, you can now choose the communities that align with your specific tech interest. All right. So we have various people from various track here. We have data science guys, we have front end guys, we have back end guys, we have cybersecurity and product design and management. All right. Actually can think of tech communities for each of this track. All right. So for data science, we have Data First Africa, Data Community Africa rather. Data Community Africa is a big community of data professionals. They kicked off in 2022, and I was actually part of the volunteers back then and all of that. So they've grown to become very big, and I think the biggest data community in Nigeria and potentially in Africa, right? Because the event that is being hosted every year pack a lot of people, right? We actually pack thousands of people and all of that. So if you're in data, this is a very good community to join. If you just go on Twitter, type Data Community Africa, you'll see them, follow their tweet and all of that. You can as well reach out to them to join the WhatsApp group, because we have a WhatsApp group, and we also have a Discord channel where everything, the community resides, the online community resides, right? And there is also a physical event that is being hosted every year, I think around October period every year, yearly. So that is for data, guys. I think we also have for product design. Our founder here, I think, is a very key person in Friends of Figma. So Friends of Figma is a community for product designers. You can join this community. Just type go online, search for Friends of Figma, join them, follow what they do. There are sometimes they would reach out for they will ask for volunteers. You can volunteer. These are the ways you begin to penetrate these communities and you grow, right? This is the best way to grow, through communities, and you just basically network your way up. All right. So you choose communities that align with specific interests. I think for cybersecurity, we have cyber girls. I can't really think of much because I'm not into that. So, but definitely there are different communities, online communities for these different tracks we have. All right. So once you are able to identify communities, then choose the one that align with your specific tech interest. All right. So let's not just dwell on that. So let's just proceed. We have less than 15 minutes to go. So you also learn to contribute discussions and share your expertise to build reputation and all of that. So these are the things that are involved in networking and in participating in online communities. All these things I'm mentioning, they are part of networking. All right, they are part of networking. Networking is not only meeting somebody and trying to connect with them, is also involving yourself in a bigger community and playing a role. All right, that is also part of networking. So let's just quickly go through the remaining slides. Attending virtual events. So this is I think we know this to be true. To have access to network, we need to be able to attend webinars and all these virtual events. This particular session is for digital networking, so we're not going to talk about physical events here. So the same way you can network in physical events, the same way you can network in virtual event. For instance, what we're having now is a virtual event. All right, so it offers unique networking opportunities, and we can. So actually, it's the same community, right? Career X that we have here. So it's still the same set of persons that you are going to see and all of that. So if, for instance, you are in a different virtual event that have a different set of persons, and you have an intention to network, that's an opportunity, because you see people. You can even network with the speakers. All right, meet the speakers, and I'm very sure speakers are always willing to listen or to answer your questions and all of that. So you can reach out to them. I'm very sure their contact will be made available. whether was LinkedIn number, all of that. So reach out to them, try to initiate that connection, right? So these are the avenues of networking. So be prepared, all right? Be prepared. You don't just have intentions to network for networking's sake. Be prepared. You need to know what you want, all right? You need to also have something to offer. So it's just like a transaction, basically. Once you go meet someone, right, the person looks at you, try to assess you and all of that, looking at your value, just trying to see if you are offering anything, basically. And if you're not, it's not going to be successful. All right. So you yourself have to have value that you can give to the other person. That's why I said skill is important. All right. So before you network, you need to have to build your skill to a certain level that gives you confidence. So once you approach someone, you're able to discuss and have this, and people are usually impressed when they see someone that is knowledgeable in the particular field. All right. So you need to be prepared. You need to know your onion. You need to know what you are doing. All right. You don't just go there with nothing. Right. It's your networking is going to is actually not even going to go anywhere. Right. So basically that is just what you need to do when you are in virtual events. Basically, you try as much as you can to reach out to people that you want to reach out to or that you want to network with. All right. So we'll talk about personal branding. I mentioned it earlier. Now we're just going to just go over it a little. So personal branding is basically just establishing yourself online. Let people know you. So when they mention this name, they'll know, oh, is this person, right? For instance, if you're on LinkedIn, you should know people like Emmanuel, right? It might not be in tech, but he has a personal brand, right? So when his name is mentioned, right, it's not going to be a foreign something, right? It's not going to be something that you are not someone that you're not aware of. So try as much as possible to have a personal brand. And how to have that personal brand is by establishing your online presence, being consistent, showing up every day. Even if you don't really have content, just do something, right? You can engage in challenges. So there was a challenge I engaged in earlier on, which was 100 days of machine learning. So the challenge basically is that every single day you post something about machine learning, something you learned or something you are learning. So this actually gives you access, it exposes you. You don't even need to work hard to network with people because people will see you and they'll start reaching out to you. Oh, I like what you're doing. Can we work on a project? Can you help me with this? Can you? So basically, you are building network implicitly without even knowing. All right. So be consistent with your online presence and all of that. Before you know it, you're already creating a personal brand. So that is one important ingredient in networking successfully. And also personal website or portfolio. So after you're done with this program in CareerX, I'm also going to advise that you have a portfolio, right? Your GitHub can serve, but it is more professional having a website of your own that lists all your achievements, your project, your certifications, and all of that. So if someone asks for your portfolio, you can just send them a link and they'll go to the link and see your portfolio. It's not a big deal. You don't need to be a front-end or back-end developer to have a website. There are templates that you can use, and hosting it is not a problem because GitHub offers free hosting. You can actually create a website and host it on GitHub, so you can access it anywhere, right? So all these things are not reasons not to have your personal website or portfolio. So doing all these things would actually help you to grow. As you are doing them, you are growing. You don't even know it, right? But you are growing. So it's easier said than done, trust me. It's actually easier said than done, but doing it, you are not going to regret it. So how do you build personal brand? I've told you already. And you also have to stay active on social media. This one is not, I don't like social media. I'm not that kind of social media person. I just like to do my day. I like to be on my own. It won't work unless maybe you don't have plans of like of growing or doing things, something tangible. You even see that these top guys in tech, they're always online. Like they're on LinkedIn, sharing things, doing stuff, making sure that people are seeing them and all of that. So if they can do that, why not you? All right. So it's not an excuse if you want to actually grow in your career. All right. So there are some challenges actually, all right, in digital networking. So digital networking can be overwhelming, as I've said. I just said it that some persons might find it overwhelming to be on social media and all of that. Trust me, it's something that a lot of us can relate to. But with time, you don't need to do it too much. Just do it at a pace that you're comfortable with until you get to a point where it's no longer overwhelming. All right. So basically, you try as much as you can to tone it down to your level and stay at that level until you are comfortable with it. Then you can now either just increase the pace and all of that. All right. So yeah, that's basically one of the challenges in digital networking. And you also need to maintain a balance. So as I said before, there are some persons that overemphasize networking and personal branding that they don't even know their onion again. All they do is just making, I don't want to use noise, right? But all they do is just making themselves known on social media and all of that and doing everything to make people know them. Is that they're actually trying to achieve all these things I've mentioned, but at the detriment of something. They've lost balance. As much as you're networking, make sure that you are compensating it with learning. You need to also be learning to be able to keep up. So if an opportunity come, because the more you expose yourself, the bigger the opportunity. So opportunities might come for you to showcase your skill. And if you've not been learning and keeping that balance, you're going to embarrass yourself, right? So you ensure that you have a balance, you maintain a balance, all right? Engage in social media interactions, but try to take breaks, all right? Try to take breaks to avoid networking fatigues. So I think we're almost done. Um, Actionable tip for proactive networking. So be proactive for effective networking. Be proactive. Don't wait for others to reach out. Always try to take the first step. This is something that we all know. Always follow up. Like as I've said, you don't need to wait for that person to reach out to you. Try as much as you can to reach out to the person, right? And we also have offer value. So basically, all these things that we have here, I've explained them already. So this is just a summary basically of what we've been saying since. You need to be proactive. Proactiveness means you don't need to wait for an occasion to require you to do it. Before it is necessitated, do it. You understand? Because you understand the importance of doing it. So you need to be proactive. Take that first step, right? And follow up with the person. Like, it's very, very good when someone out of the blue just reach out to you asking how you are, right? You feel connected. You actually feel that, oh, this person actually is intentional about this whole thing, right? So that is going to really help you in making connections. So we also have offer value, which I've already explained. So you need to be able to offer value, right? You don't just go empty-handed. All right. Keep learning and stay updated on industry trends to make your conversation more relevant. So you need to be learning. Like, you don't stop learning. In tech, you don't stop learning. If you stop learning, that is the day you stop growing. If you come to a point where you think, oh, I've understood everything, I already know JavaScript, I know React, I know Next.js, I know Vue, I know Angular, I know all of that, you just stop growing, you understand? So you need to actually continue learning. Tech is a fast-paced field, right? That evolves very, very fast. So you need to keep up with industry trends and all of that. So that's it for today's session. Um, I believe I've been able to bring in this concept of networking and show you how important it is, especially digital networking, and how you can utilize these digital platforms that we have in networking with people, right? So basically, the summary we have here is that digital networking is essential for career growth and building meaningful connections in tech. All right. So you need to start applying these strategies today. Don't wait until you need something to start networking. Be proactive. Don't wait until you need something to start networking. All right. You don't know when you need something. So you just need to start. All right. So that is it for this class or for this session. Thank you very much for listening, and I'm going to draw the curtain here. So yeah, I think there will be an avenue for questions. Yeah, so that is where I'm going to be stopping for today. Pere, please, can you from here?
Emmanuel, thank you very much for that insightful presentation. Really, the networking is the most crucial thing that people really underestimate. It doesn't matter how good you are if nobody knows you're that good. You understand? You might be very good at something, but you don't have the people to put it out there. Me personally, a lot of jobs or gigs I get is through networking. I have a friend or somebody that I know that I do this thing, and he might have like, oh, I need somebody. I want to make a website. He might say, oh, I know somebody, and they reference me to that person. I already know. Like
Yeah.
my networking and my link is actually working for me. So it's very, very, very important to actually network. It's very crucial. If nobody knows what to do, nobody ever find out what to do. So it's very important to, go on LinkedIn, go on Reddit, connect with people, talk to people, post what you do. Let them know that this is what I do. Build that brand around yourself. Then for the communities, I think Figma, you mentioned Figma. I think Figma also holds, that's for product designer. They actually hold yearly. I think they had theirs for this year, they've actually hosted the one for this year. I think for Port Harcourt, that was during, I think it was June or July that they had their own. We also have one that's actually haven't been hosted yet. I think that is called Google Dev Fest. But that one is yet to announce. Yeah, Google Dev Fest for 2024. It hasn't been announced yet, but I know that they do that one yearly. So Google Dev Fest is for, I think it's for everybody. I think
It's
for
for everybody.
programmers. Yeah, it's for everybody. So when you gather at such communities, don't keep to yourself. Just don't sit down here and come back to your house. No, go there, talk to people, talk to the person beside you. Then, hi, how are you? I'm a front end developer. I'm a product designer. Well, what's your own profession? Even if you're even learning, doesn't matter. Everybody there is learning too. Then the speakers, you can also speak to the speakers. They're always like welcoming to people to ask their questions, even the social. So that's how you really need to network. Don't I know that a lot of us are introverts. We don't like talking too much, but you have to actually do it. But you can start in a smaller pace and just start with the oh hi, how are you? I'm a product designer type of thing on your social and the rest. That is very key point to actually network. So that's my own intake on what Emmanuel has said. I think now we go into the question and answer session because now it's already 8. So if you have any question in the comments, any question to ask, you can start dropping your questions. And also, in the spirit of networking, Career X with for cohort 2, we've actually made a social link group whereby you can connect and talk to your peers, interact with your peers, and also a place whereby you can actually drop your social links, like your LinkedIn profile picture. Profile link. You can drop your GitHub link to network among the people to show you works you've done, maybe your Figma design and the rest just network. I'll be dropping the invite, the link to the group in the Q&A, so you can actually check there for the link too. But I'll also drop in the announcement for him after this. So yes, you can start asking your questions. We're looking at the questions and answer section right now.
Okay. I think I'm going through the question and answer section. I'm not seeing any question here.
Somebody Please, how can one balance online interaction with face-to-face engagement for optimal relationship building? I think it's the last
Okay,
one of the. Have you seen that one?
okay. Please, how can one balance online interactions with face-to-face engagement for optimal relationship building? Basically, I don't know, but you spend more time online actually than physical, right? So the balance shouldn't really be a problem. All right. But you try as much as you can to leverage any whatever opportunities you find yourself in. You try as much as possible to make the best out of it. If you are going for physical event, you're basically going to be having face-to-face engagement and all of that. If you don't, if you're maybe just staying at home and all of that, you can try to just make these connections online in the communities that you are in and all of that. So it just depends on where you are at the moment. You can't actually be online and having these interactions and at the same time having face-to-face engagement, right? It's just situation based, right? So I don't see the need for balancing in this case, right? So wherever you see yourself, you try to adapt, all right? Try to adapt. If it is online, you you'd use all these things that have been said in today's class. If it is physical, yeah. Although physical interaction for people that might be introverted can be a bit tricky and challenging. But trust me, when you want something, when you really want something, you don't think about all this thing. All right. You go out. That is why to grow, you have to come out from your shell. That is why you see a chick or a chicken that lays egg. For the chick to become free and to be able to roam around in the world, the chick has to break out of its shell. All right. So that is the same thing that should happen. You should be able to break out of your shell, out of your comfort zone, and come out. So that it's hard. All right. It's not easy. Trust me. But you need to do it. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it, right? So most people that are successful are people that have actually come to the peak of their career. These are the things they have to do. These are the things that they was required of them. So yeah, I think that I don't know if that answers your question, but that's just what I have to say regarding that. So, but if you're having difficulty balancing it, I just hope the answer was able to do justice to the question. Yeah. Thank you. Any other question? My question is, how can someone tackle the issue of working experience for a beginner? Most of this community usually make experience as a part of a community identity. No, no, I don't think I've seen any community that make it a requirement. Most communities are beginner friendly. When I joined, most communities I've seen, they are beginner friendly. Right? They accept beginners a lot because that is you need a community to grow, and people that want to grow are actually beginners. I don't know if you've met any community that actually asking for experience. The ones people that ask for experience are people that are looking for that employers, basically people that are recruiting, right? So I think that is where the challenge of experience, working experience, comes in. But for joining communities, it is usually not a problem. Usually not a problem. But just make sure you know something. Just make sure you know something about what you are doing. And an advantage would be that you already have projects that you've done, so you can be a starting point for conversations. All right. So yeah, I think that is it.
I
Please,
mean, I
can we
mean,
get
I'm sorry. Let me just add to that. Let me add to
okay?
that. So, like Emmanuel said, most of the communities don't actually require any experience at all. Except maybe it's for the employers. We want to apply for a job, then they might ask you how many years experience do you want. But there are all the other communities are actually open to beginners. Like me now, I actually joined I'm in a Discord server for programmers. And when I have an issue on something or a new language I want to learn, I go there, I ask the question, please, well, how does this work? Like I'm having error with this code. I'll literally share my screen or send a picture of my error to the group, and somebody will be there available to like give me a feedback, or try this, or you didn't do this right. So like all these communities are open to actually help you learn and actually help you grow. So when you join them, don't be scared to actually ask for questions, reach out to them for help. They actually do work.
Yeah, actually, that's actually um right. Okay, we think we have another question. Please, can we get a list of these communities and probably their categories, probably to be sent to our group, individual groups, so to yeah, I think, I don't know, Perek, is that going to be possible to
Um,
compile list of
we can
communities
compile.
installing?
I can compile. I'll try to compile some for them.
All right. So I think that will be that will be looked at. Yeah, it will be very, very helpful as well for those that are yet to join. I know you talked about ways one can build connect, but please let us know the effective ways to leverage social media platforms for networking purpose while ensuring authenticity and avoiding common pitfall. Okay, the thing I would just tell you about ensuring authenticity is that don't lie. That's just it. Don't lie. Just just say what just say what you are, right? If you're a beginner, just say it, but try as much as you can not to sound desperate, not to sound like you are begging for something. Let there be confidence rather in how you are approaching someone. Let it be there, all right? But at the same time, don't try to shift your words from reality. You understand? Try to say what you are, and people respect it. Trust me. Like, it is easier to see through a lie, very, very easy, and through an inauthenticity. So these are things that you should know. Like, you should know when you are being authentic. Understand? The same way you have normal conversation with people and all of that. It's just the same way you should try to maintain that. But the difference is that you're having a goal in mind, all right? You actually want to connect with this person. You assess yourself, okay, see what I have. Okay, this is what I'm doing currently. Does it align with this person's own? Or do I have to just what do I have to say to kind of just set the ground for conversations and all of that? So the bottom line is, I don't lie. That is just it. Like, I don't need to tell you exactly what to say or how to do it. These are the things. This is basically left to you to do or to know how to do, right? So that should just be your guide for that. All right. Let me see if there's another question. I think we need to be going now because of time. How do I connect to these communities? Perry is going to send some lists to our group, so hopefully you get links and all of that. What's the best way to network with a stranger on LinkedIn? Do you just say hi and go straight to what you want, or do you spend time trying to befriend them? What if they snub you in the process? Okay, let me just say something. In the professional world, don't take snubbing personal. See, you would get snubbed a lot of time. If you start taking it personal, you are going to go down very fast and you're going to get frustrated. I don't know. When you start getting rejection mails, that is when you are going to be immune to all these things. It won't move you at all. Like, it won't move you. Trust me. Right. So you should not. That's why I said you should separate networking from friendship. You're not attaching emotion when you're networking. There is no emotion attached. You are not trying to impress them emotionally and all of that. You're trying, it is a professional setting, understand? So that is, and you should keep it at that. All right. So the best way to network with a stranger on LinkedIn is to know the stranger first. Okay, who is this person? Does this person align with is this person aligning with my interests? Are they in the same field? First of all, they have to be in the same field as you. That's a given. They should be in the same field as you. If you want to network with someone and you are a software developer, all right, unless you want to collaborate with another person, let's say a product designer on a project, that is a different thing. But if you want to network in respect with career growth, you make sure that the person you are networking with is in the same field as you are. First of all, that so that's already a ground, a common ground for you to start conversation. So that person is no longer a stranger again. They're just distant colleague. Let me put it that way. So you can start from there and start just building up. All right. You say hi, you can say, oh, you saw some of their project on that they did, and you actually liked it. And you can tell them that you were also trying to do something similar, but you were like they love ways to approach it, right? The list is inexhaustible, right? Nobody can come and start telling you all the things to do, and although there are tips and tricks for and all of that, that is not the essence of this session. But trust me, yeah, basically you just start with someone that is in the same interest field, right? Just create that common ground, and you have intentions, you know what you want. You just let that guide you. All right, let it guide you. That's just all I can actually tell you. You don't try to befriend them. No, you are not trying to befriend them. You're just trying to connect with them, and they're not your friend. Basically, if they end up being your friend, fine. It's an advantage. Is good, right? But yeah, that's not the essence of what you're trying to do. All right, so I think we're spending a lot of time. So I think that should answer your question. Let me take the last question here. Talking about authenticity, how can one differentiate themselves and stand out in a crowded digital networking space while maintaining professional and authentic presence? I don't know if I got that question. How can one differentiate themselves and stand out in a crowded digital networking space while maintaining yeah, but just being yourself, basically. I don't know how else to say that or what answer to give again. You just be yourself. Everybody's different. All right. Everybody comes with their own flair. All right. So just maintain it. Trust me. And your authenticity will just be there. So I think with this is where we're going to be closing the curtain. Perry, please, do you have any other thing to say? Um
Um, Actually, I have nothing else to say. But for the last question, like what Emmanuel said, you just have to be yourself. Keep on posting your works. Keep on posting what you do on your social media links, your LinkedIn and the rest. Keep on showing what you do. Don't worry, you will stand out. Somebody is going to see your work and oh, this is nice. I love this. Just keep on doing that. Start your own personal branding. Everybody is different. Everybody is different. Then I think I wanted to say something about forgetting what I wanted. What I wanted to say. Okay, so for the sorry, this is for coders too. So for the coders, there's something is a challenge that we call is it 100 days of coding. I think
yeah.
it's 100 days of coding. So each day they give you a task to do. Trust me, it's very beginner friendly. It starts from as in ground zero, then it starts increasing. So it's, everybody has, even you're coming into tech now, can actually do it. So it's called 100 days of coding, whereby they give you something to actually do, and you have to post about it on social media. And it's a challenge. You can post. There's a challenge called hashtag 100 days of coding. You can actually search it out on Google. I think they have a website to where you can register and join and get the tax. Where you code, oh, this is my first day. I coded this. I coded that. So by the time you're done with the 100 days of coding, you're actually going to have something to actually show. And also, if you're networking too, you can also network with people around your niche. You can reach out to people to build the projects together. If you're front end, you can find the back end to find, oh, I'm working on this project. Can you help me like want to collaborate with other people from different segments, different track to actually build something. That was actually also going to increase your portfolio as well. I think so. That's all I have to say concerning this. I think that's the end of our webinar now. Yeah, I think that's the end of
Oh,
our webinar now. Emmanuel, it was really nice having you here. The topic was extremely wonderful. I hope all of you had a nice time with Emmanuel. Emmanuel. So yeah, so kindly join the social media link for the cohort 2. I think I dropped it in the chat. I also dropped it in the announcement forum too for cohort 2. So everybody can have a nice day. I think this is the end of our webinar today. So everybody have a good night, and we see you next Friday with a different topic.
good night, everyone, and thank you very much for your time. For those in data science, see you guys in class tomorrow.